Good evening, this is Viewpoint. I'm Zakir Jacob. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi has categorically distanced himself and his party from the comments made by Digvijaya Singh on the Balakot airstrikes. But that has not stopped the BJP from latching onto those comments and saying that this is simply reflective of the larger Congress mentality. They have only not only shown the Congress in bad political light, reeking of political opportunism, if you will, but it is also questioning our armed forces, which is a patently anti-national act. Now, shouldn't the issue of national security, like in every democracy, be above politics? Rahul Gandhi has condemned Digvijaya Singh and distanced his party from Digvijaya Singh, but is that good enough? Why not go ahead and take action and set an example? But first, the story.
केवल झूठ का बुलंदा से ये बात कर रहे हैं। सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक की बात करते हैं कि हमने इतने लोग मार गिराए, लेकिन प्रमाण कुछ नहीं।
I've got the greatest regard and respect for our defense forces.
I'm sorry to have to say this about a senior leader. He said a ridiculous thing.
जब राहुल गांधी ने कहा है, तो राहुल गांधी से कुछ सवाल पूछना है और देश को उनकी टिप्पणियों के बारे में दोबारा याद भी कराना है और उनसे पूछना है कि क्या आप इसको भी वापस लेंगे?
All right, let me go across to our guests who are joining us. Anila Singh, BJP spokesperson. Rohan Gupta of the Congress will be joining us. Dr. Tara Karta is former director of the National Security Council Secretariat. Lieutenant General retired KJ Singh is former General Officer Commanding-in-Chief of the Western Command. Anila Singh, let me start with you first. What Rahul Gandhi said today, categorically distancing the Congress party and himself from the comments made by Digvijaya Singh, he said, and I quote, "The views of the party are generated from a conversation. Digvijaya Singh's views are outlying views. They are not views held by the party. We're absolutely crystal clear. The armed forces do a job, and they do that job exceptionally well. They don't need to be providing proof." Are you belaboring the point about Digvijaya Singh now that Mr. Rahul Gandhi himself has come out and clarified that the Congress has nothing to do with what Mr. Digvijaya Singh said?
My Ram to everyone, and it is not the sole case of Mr. Digvijaya Singh. Congress party is a habitual offender to insult our Indian army. They have been doing so. And in today's date, Mr. Rahul Gandhi, he can come in front and he can do a PC and then he can say it is a ridiculous statement made by Digvijaya Singh. But who can forget that after a year lapsed of Balakot strike, he had questioned that who has gained the most after the strike. So he himself was questioning the Indian Army. And in today's date, when his leader, his senior leader, who has accompanied him from Kanyakumari till Jammu and Kashmir, when he says this thing, he says it is a ridiculous statement.
Okay.
So why you didn't reacted when Mr. Sam Petroda questioned about the strike? Mm-hmm. When Mr. Shashi Tharoor questioned about the strike, Kapil Sibal did the same. At that time, you were mum. But in today's date, you are saying it is ridiculous. You yourself is party into it. So the thing is, Congress has time and again insulted our Indian army. Or I can say they want to insult our Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, but they do not know when they cross that thin line. And they start attacking our nation and our Indian army as well.
Okay, if Rohan Gupta is there, let's try and see if we can go across to the Congress spokesperson. Has Rohan Gupta joined? All right, we'll go across to Rohan in just 1 second. I want to ask Tara Karta, when the BJP says this is part of a pattern, you had former Defence Minister A.K. Antony saying that similar operations were held, surgical strikes were held in the past government as well, and these things should not be politicized. Congress leader P. Chidambaram saying that these strikes were routine and that the government was trying to manufacture a great victory. You had Sam Petroda saying, well, the government is saying that we went and did the strikes. Did we actually? Manishankar Iyer has questioned the strikes. So it's all part of a pattern is what the BJP is alleging. Even Mr. Rahul Gandhi himself had famously in 2016 said, हमारे जवान हैं जिन्होंने खून दिया है, जिन्होंने सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक किया है, उनके खून के पीछे आप, which is the BJP and the Prime Minister, छुपे हुए हो, खून की दलाली कर रहे हो. This is what Rahul Gandhi said in 2016. So is this part of a pattern? Does the BJP have a point when it says that the Congress is crossing that line between criticizing a government, criticizing a Prime Minister and criticizing the armed forces?
I think it's extremely unfortunate that whichever side is taking up this issue in a political manner. It was something which I think we can be justly proud of, especially the airstrikes across into POK. That was, well, virtually a game changer. And how can any party, for that matter, Digvijaya Singh's comments were, I'm sorry, it was terrible. It is an extremely unfortunate comment that he made. Mm-hmm. And the countries, political parties should not take such things and make it into an issue. And this doesn't happen in other countries. Sorry, that doesn't. If it is an issue of national security, usually there's a bipartisan support for
Correct.
Whatever the government undertakes. It is something there is support for the armed forces, and that support is critical. After all, there are a bunch of people putting their lives on the line.
Yep.
That includes, people like a lot of people, intelligence folks who went out and sought intelligence on the camps, who had precise ideas of what the location were. Hundreds and hundreds of man hours of work has gone into this. And anyone who criticizes it, I'm sorry, that is really unfortunate if it becomes a political ping pong. It's really
so Rohan Gupta is now joining us. Rohan, two things. One, what the BJP is saying is that this is part of a pattern. It's not just Digvijaya Singh. We've heard similar comments being made in the past by A.K. Antony, the former defense minister, the former home minister, Mr. P. Chidambaram, Manishankar Iyer, Sam Petroda. The list is almost unending. And of course, Rahul Gandhi himself in 2016 had said, Khoon ki dalali. So the BJP is saying, A, this is part of a pattern. This is not just restricted to one Digvijaya Singh. Please respond to that. And two, yes, Mr. Gandhi has today come out and categorically distanced himself and the Congress party from Digvijaya Singh. Why not put your money where your mouth is and take action against Digvijaya Singh? Surely he's not beyond reproach. Surely Rahul Gandhi can send a signal to take action against Digvijaya Singh, howsoever senior he may be. If he can say that it was a ridiculous comment and we totally distance ourselves from what Digvijaya Singh said, go ahead and please take action. Set an example.
See, Zaka, Rahul ji has already set an example in Indian politics where party like BJP, their MP Sadhvi Pragya speaks against Mahatma Gandhi. He praises Godse. And even now we have not heard anything from BJP, whether it is official statement of BJP or any action is not been taken. So we are not following BJP, Zaka. We know what are our strengths. We know what is Congress party. And Rahul ji has categorically, clearly said that this is not our statement. And we absolutely don't agree with him. But Zaka, you tell me, in politics, where party like Congress, which has guts to say this for a senior leader, that we don't agree with that, can you give me single example of BJP, at least questioning their leaders when they have spoken against Mahatma Gandhi? They have praised Godse. They have done puja of Godse. You tell me, give me one example. You forget about condemning it. Have they ever come out and even openly said that that person shouldn't have said? So I think BJP has no moral right to question us. We have shown our moral that what is the difference between BJP and Congress. For us, when it comes to army, it is not about politics. So it is about the country.
Let Anila Singh respond, and I'll come back to you, Rohan. Let Anila Singh respond. I think that's a fair point. You had the elected member of parliament from Bhopal, Sadhvi Pragya Singh, praising Godse. We had her talking about keep your weapons ready. Did anybody in the senior leadership of the BJP condemn that publicly, Anila Singh ji?
Look at what Mr. Rohan Gupta ji is doing. He is comparing oranges with apples. The thing is, you cannot compare Sadhvi Pragya with our armed forces.
Why?
The things which our armed forces do for our nation, you cannot compare one member of parliament with our armed forces.
Against Mahatma Gandhi, you cannot
come on, I did not talk over you.
Yeah, one at a time. Thank you.
I did not talk over you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
And the thing is, Prime Minister himself, and as our party's senior most leadership, he had condemned her statement. And one thing, let me tell you very clearly: if you say, "आप साध्वी प्रज्ञा के साथ कोई action लेते हो, नहीं लेते हो," okay, any political party can give ticket to any person. It is the public. It is the public who votes for that person. That person can be voted in, or that person can be voted out. But here we are talking about our armed forces. पर हम आपसे इससे ज्यादा अपेक्षा कर ही नहीं सकते हैं. ऐसा राजनीतिक दल जिसने हर चीज में फौज की हर चीज में दलाली की हुई हो, can we expect any sort of respect from that political party?
Okay. Let me go to General KJ Singh and then I'll come back to Rohan on this. General KJ Singh, the larger question, whether it is one political party or other political party, let's leave aside the politics of it. The larger question that's being asked is, what sort of message is this giving to our adversary countries like China and Pakistan when they see these discordant notes that are coming? Do they discount it for the fact that this is how democracies work? There will be discordant notes, there will be dissenting views, as it were. Or do they see this as a sign of political weakness, that here in this country on an important issue like national security, there isn't a national consensus, that people are sparring on an issue like national security? What message does this send across to particularly China and Pakistan, and forget about, and as indeed for the rest of the world?
Zaka, Jai Hind. Thank you for having me on your show. I feel this statement by a person who's been a former chief minister, a cabinet minister, and 2 days before Republic Day. What horrible sense of timing. Doing it in Kashmir. So to that extent, it's a very misguided, unfortunate sense of timing and the place where he's made this statement. Of course, it sends a very wrong message. It gives a chance for these countries to think that we have a fault line that they can exploit. And Zaka, through your channel, I want to say, like what Tara was very correctly pointing out, Balakot is not about counting how many people died or how many barracks were destroyed. It's about sending a message. Message that we will target you beyond POK, target you in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa if there is a terror hub. So it was a great messaging. I appreciate, and I just it's a game changer in many ways. And secondly, also we have discovered space below nuclear threshold. We have called up Pakistan's nuclear bluff.
Yeah.
So parties must look at bigger issues and not get stuck with these small things like proof of how many people were killed, how many barracks were destroyed, and see the effect of this strike. After that, we've not had any major incident in our hinterland.
Correct.
So, all in all, in terms of targeting, in terms of effect, it was a great act, and a lot of credit to the government.
Fair enough. I think that point about sub-nuclear threshold action, I think the surgical strikes for the very first time demonstrated that you can have sub-nuclear military options. And I think that was a very, very important thing. But be that as it may, that's a tactical thing. I want to come back to the politics. And Rohan, please answer. Yesterday, when Mr. Digvijaya Singh made these comments, it was Parakram Divas. The whole country was remembering Subhash Chandra Bose, the great soldier. The Prime Minister at that same time was dedicating 21 islands to Paramveer Chakra awardees. Out of those 21, many of them have died. They've given the ultimate sacrifice for the nation. On that day, for Digvijaya Singh to say surgical strike ki proof nahi hai, isn't it politically also counterproductive? I mean, you've had 3 months of this yatra. Many are saying that Mr. Gandhi's image itself has changed during this yatra. At the last 1 week of this yatra, now this is taken over everything else. This is the biggest talking point.
So Zaka, first of all, when Rahul Gandhi ji himself has said that nobody has any right to ask questions to our army, I think it ends the matter there, and there is nothing beyond that. I'll give you one another example where in Gujarat, one of the BJP MLAs, he called Subhash Chandra Bose the terrorist, and he has apologized. There is no action by BJP. He has called Subhash Chandra Bose a terrorist. This is the official statement I'm telling you. He has tweeted that way. There is no action taken by BJP. He apologized, but no action by BJP. No statement by BJP state leader or a central leader. So, Zaka, that's the difference I'm telling you. If any leader has crossed the line, it is Rahul ji who had guts to come out openly and tell
but Digvijaya Singh has not apologized. Digvijay, from whatever I mean, he has said that, he was misunderstood. I don't think he has apologized.
No, I'm not saying about him. I'm talking about
No, I'm saying, if the yardstick is that somebody said, in Gujarat said something, he apologized, but Digvijaya Singh has not even apologized.
I am here to represent my party stance.
Yes.
What I'm trying to tell, as a party, when we have taken a clear-cut stand, why BJP is not coming openly to counter Sadhvi Pragya's statement? Why they are not coming out openly and question the MLA statement? Why BJP is not doing
The
as a
other
party?
thing, Rohan, the other thing is, over the last 20 years, certainly, from the Kargil war, there was a bipartisan consensus amongst our political parties, particularly the BJP and Congress, when it comes to national security issues. When the Kargil war happened, Prime Minister Vajpayee called on all opposition leaders, and I think the first person who extended support from the opposition was Sonia Gandhi. Similarly, when the 26/11 attacks had happened, the opposition was taken into confidence, and the BJP leadership at that time extended its support to an important issue like national security. Here, what has happened is, over the surgical strikes, 2016, and then subsequently the Balakot strikes in 2019, by questioning this action, A, this discordant message is going to our adversary countries, and B, that consensus of the last 20 years seems to have been broken.
See, I completely agree with you, Zaka. When it comes to our army, see, I will give credit to our army for surgical strike, whether it is done during BJP tenure or it is done previously to that during Congress tenure. We cannot question our army. It's as simple as that. That is what Rahul ji has said. We, as far as national security is concerned, as far as Pakistan is concerned, we all are on the same page. But let me tell you here, Zaka, this is the government which has made historical mistake as far as Pakistan is concerned. When Modi ji came, he tried to establish personal contact by going there, celebrating birthday, eating biryani. No other prime minister has done, but that's the political side of it. But when it comes to army, I think all of us, we should stand together. Okay. And what Rahul ji has said, that we cannot ask question our army, any question, that's, I think that is
Anila Singh ji respond. Anila Singh ji respond,
I would expect from BJP at least to criticize their MP statement.
Let her respond, yeah.
नहीं, I must tell Mr. Rohan Gupta, हमारे तो प्रधानमंत्री जी और जो हमारे शीर्ष नेता है नरेंद्र मोदी जी, वो तो बिरयानी खाते नहीं है साहब. नॉन वेज हो सकता है, जिस परिवार की आरती आप लोग उतारते हैं वो नॉन वेज खाते हो, उनको बिरयानी खाने का शौक हो. नरेंद्र मोदी जी को कोई बिरयानी खाने का शौक नहीं होता, ना उनके पास इतना समय है. किसी से भी मुलाकात करते हैं तो कोई ना कोई वजह उसके पीछे होती है. But listen to me, but your political party, what you have to just a moment. What Congress has to say कि पूरा का पूरा पाकिस्तान आपने तश्तरी में उठाकर उनको तोहफे में दे दिया. ठीक है, चाहे हम पीओके की बात कर लें, हम चाहे किसी चीज की बात कर लें. हाँ, आप लोग हमें बताएंगे कि बिरयानी खाना क्या होता है, पूरा पाकिस्तान बनाकर देना क्या होता है साहब. भारतीय जनता पार्टी वो राजनीतिक दल है जिसने सदैव अपने राष्ट्र पर, अपनी राष्ट्र की फौज पर हमेशा नाज किया है. आप लोगों की तरह नहीं है कि दलाली शुरू हो जाए. Whether you have to purchase tanks, whether you have to purchase trucks, whether you have to purchase helicopters, or whether you have to purchase planes, submarines. You have to take commission out of it, and we very well know it. It has been proven, and people of this great country are not fooled. यहाँ पे राहुल गांधी जी जो he is just a post holder in new political party. Why he has been given so much of importance and weightage? प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करनी थी तो मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे साहब आते और करते और बोलते कि बिल्कुल गलत किया है, मैं सस्पेंड करता हूँ दिग्विजय सिंह जी को.
नहीं अनिला जी, वो तो उनके पार्टी के अंदरूनी मामला है, कौन आए कौन ना आए उनको तय करने दीजिए ना. राहुल गांधी आए, खड़गे जी आए, वो तो लेट देम डिसाइड. नहीं, अगर खड़गे जी आते तो आप भी पूछती और हम भी पूछते कि राहुल गांधी कहाँ हैं, राहुल गांधी क्यों जवाब नहीं दे रहे हैं. वो तो अलग बात है. एनीवे,
I just want to make one thing. I just want to make one thing clear here. Only they have got the right to ask questions on Balakot strike. हम नहीं पूछ सकते कि मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे क्यों नहीं आए. केवल इनके जनरल सेक्रेटरी जो प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करके क्यों रिडिक्यूल कर रहे हैं दिग्विजय सिंह जी को. So even they have to come clear out of it. Congress टूट चुकी है. This is the reality.
Rohan, you want to respond to that?
See, this is the problem with BJP. They have not taken a single action against their MP who has spoken against the father of the nation, and they are lecturing us. We have seen your flip-flops. That is why our army had to face Uri, Pulwama, Pathankot. You have invited Pakistan in Pathankot to do the investigation. What foolishness you are talking here? I think you need to understand, because of the flip-flop about Pakistan policy, I think India has faced a lot.
Okay.
And forget about Pakistan.
Let me go to the experts. Let me go to Tara Karta and to General Singh, and I'll wrap after that. Tara Karta, I come back to that question of, you said that there should be a bipartisan consensus. In most democracies, we've seen that. Let's take the case of the US, for example. The war on terror was a very contentious issue. And yet, You had a Republican president who started it, a Democrat president who followed up on that. Then there was again a Republican president. And finally, the current Democrat president carried on with the war on terror for 2 years and finally concluded it. So over 4 administrations, different parties, you had a consensus in the US about the importance of this war on terror, right? Whereas here in India, and particularly all the more so in the last few years, because that consensus was there for 20 years, definitely it was there from Kargil all the way to 26/11. But somehow with the surgical strikes, both in 16 as well as in 19, the opposition has been questioning the narrative, either on the political side, or of course, like Rohan says, we don't question the army, but we're questioning the quote-unquote spin. What needs to be done to get back that consensus? Like we are seeing in the US on national security, there is a bipartisan consensus.
I think it's, Saka, there have been a lot of people questioning our strikes outside this country. You know that, right? There's been a certain policy institute outside who produced ostensible proof that nothing was hit. There are people who've come to me and said, oh, you guys just hit trees. This kind of debate, oh my God, I mean, it kind of completely undercuts us. What leaders, I think the political leaders need to pull up their people and say, no more. You are not going to talk about strategic issues on both sides. Both party leaders need to pull up their juniors and say, this territory is off limits. Because it is tragic that we've done. And I must say something also. I mean, I don't like to be, I like to be apolitical. But the fact that the BJP did this brilliant, strike, it is a brilliant strike. Let's face it. The surgical strike was absolutely, and it was, like I said, a game changer. That is something apparently the Congress has problems with. I mean, go with it. You've done something good. Let's go ahead from here. You want to criticize? Criticize. By all means, criticize the BJP. Okay. But criticize on the basis of real policy, not this kind of thing.
All right. I'll give General Singh I'll give General Singh the final word. So we had this, like some of the Congress leaders have said, we've had surgical strikes in the past as well, but there was a policy of never publicizing it. I think General Bikram Singh also had referred to this back in 2016 when the first strikes had happened. The strategic restraint which was shown is now a thing of the past. There is now a claiming of the attacks that happened, the strikes that happened, the cross-LOC hits and the cross-border hits, like we did in Balakot as well as in the aftermath of Uri. Does that send a message to the enemy that, look, here is a country that will not only take action, but be seen to be taking action?
Zaka, it does send a message. If we go into history of these surgical raids or strikes, during regime before 2014, there used to be localized responses which were limited to a battalion area or a brigade area or a place of advantage. So post Uri, the strikes that took place were spread across Pir Panjal. They spread into 2 core zones, one, the Nagrota one and the Srinagar one. So there was a change, upgradation. Sure. We had upgraded into 2 different core zones. And Balakot was definitely a game changer, like what Tara Karta is also bringing out. We were targeting beyond POK. We were going beyond POK. See, Pakistan has come to Pathankot and Dinanagar in Gurdaspur on some, terrorist actions. But we had never done it.
Correct.
So here we were going to Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. So a resolve has been conveyed, and that has got its effect, because after that, there is a ceasefire which came into being in 2021 on LOC, and that ceasefire by and large is
holding. Correct.
No major action has taken place in terrorist action in our hinterland.
Yeah.
So an action is measured in terms of targeting, the scope, and the effect. So on all these 3 parameters, I will say this action was great.
Okay.
And it has
I got to wrap up. Thank you very much to all our guests. I'm completely out of time, but I'll say this, that I go with this idea of a bipartisan consensus on national security issues. It is absolutely critical that in democracies, yes, you can disagree on 100 things, but on one issue, this one issue, there needs to be a bipartisan consensus. Meanwhile, For the second time in 3 weeks, talking about political discord, the process of electing Delhi's mayor was stalled. This after another round of heated exchanges between the Aam Aadmi Party and BJP councillors. Ruckus erupted in the assembly as AAP and BJP councillors began to shout the House got adjourned without the election of a mayor. So it's been over a month since the MCD election results came out, and yet there is still no mayor for the national capital. BJP leaders claim that AAP needs to learn to behave, and it was because of the AAP that the polls have been stalled yet again. The AAP in turn alleges that the BJP is trying to buy their councillors, and since they were unable to do so, they were not allowing elections to take place. The mayor polls were delayed because of ruckus, which broke out earlier in this month as well.
आम आदमी पार्टी के एक भी पार्षद ने आवाज नहीं उठाई। आज सब पार्षद उसमें थे कि आज मेयर का चुनाव होना चाहिए, लेकिन भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने जानबूझकर अपने पार्षदों से हंगामा करवाया। पहले 15 मिनट के लिए सदन में ब्रेक किया और उसके बाद में प्रोटेम ऑफिसर ने आके 2 मिनट के अंदर अंदर अनाउंस कर दिया कि अनिश्चितकालीन भंग कर दिया, आगे बढ़ा दी। कोई ट्रिगर नहीं था, कुछ नहीं था। केवल और केवल यह है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी आज मेयर के चुनाव से भाग रही है। ये भागती जनता पार्टी हो गई है। जनता ने इनको हराया है और इनको ये मानना पड़ेगा कि जनता ने आपको हटा दिया है।
आम आदमी पार्टी चुनाव नहीं होने देना चाहती है। आज का जो दृश्य दिखा है तो आम आदमी पार्टी, उसके नेता तो बाहर कह रहे हैं कि जी हम अब चुपचाप खड़े हैं, लेकिन अंदर उनके पार्षद जितना हंगामा, गाली गलौज। अभी आपके कैमरे के सामने एक दृश्य दिखा ना, हम आपसे बात कर रहे हैं और उनको यहीं से जाना है। अरे भैया पीछे से चले जाओ। इट मीन्स कि उनको हंगामा खड़ा करना है और ये स्थिति का जो नुकसान दिल्ली उठा रही है, आम आदमी पार्टी का रवैया अलोकतांत्रिक है और हम इसकी निंदा करते हैं।
हम एलजी साहब से अपील कर रहे हैं कि उनके पास पावर है नई इलेक्शन की डेट निर्धारित करने की, वो तुरंत फाइल साइन करें और आज शाम 5:30 बजे इलेक्शन करवाएं। आम आदमी पार्टी के सारे पार्षद यहाँ पे मौजूद हैं, आम आदमी पार्टी के 13 विधायक यहाँ पे मौजूद हैं, आम आदमी पार्टी के 3 सांसद यहाँ पे मौजूद हैं। वो तुरंत आज की तारीख दें और 2 घंटे के अंदर अंदर चुनाव करवाएं। दिल्ली की जनता को एमसीडी की सरकार चाहिए। भारतीय जनता पार्टी चुनाव हार गई है, इसका मतलब मेयर का चुनाव नहीं करवाएगी क्या?
बताइए क्या कुछ हुआ आज, क्यों सस्पेंड कर दिया गया ये?
देखो, उन्होंने वहाँ पे गुंडागर्दी मचा रखी है। उन्होंने वहाँ पे इतना शोर मचा दिया कि जो कार्यक्रम, जो प्रक्रिया चल रही थी उसको पूरा डिस्टर्ब कर दिया। जो प्रेसिडेंटिंग ऑफिसर था, उन्होंने बार बार कहा कि भाई आप शांति के साथ बैठो, जो प्रक्रिया उसको पूरे होने दो, लेकिन वो मान ही नहीं रहे थे। उन्होंने एकदम से बिल्कुल वहाँ पे हाउस का उतार उठा, बहुत गंदा मचा दिया। हम चाहते थे मेयर बने, चुनाव हो, लेकिन जो प्रक्रिया है वो तो उसे अपनानी पड़ेगी ना। वो हाउस से कैसे बाहर कर देंगे? वो भी उस एलजी द्वारा नियुक्त है, वो एल्डरमैन है, उनको कैसे हाउस से बाहर कर देंगे? वो हाउस का सदन का सदस्य है, ऐसे नहीं बाहर कर सकते।